Hey, what's up guys? It's Marv and welcome back to another Asphalt Legends Unite video. Today will be a little bit different. I wanted to take a step back and look at both Asphalt Legends Unite in the short-term future, but also the Asphalt franchise itself in terms of the long-term future, because we really only found out about Asphalt Legends Unite earlier this year, maybe about in March, February, that time. Whereas usually you find out about games a year or maybe 6 months before they come out, but this wasn't necessarily a new game. It was just an expansion to an already existing game, which is very different to anything we've already had in Asphalt history. So before we get into, let's say, the details of it, I want to tackle the big question in the room, and that is, will we ever see Asphalt 10? And that question has been thrown around the past couple of years, especially as Asphalt 9 hit its 5th, 6th anniversary mark. But I think the question now pretty much has a clear answer, and that is, at least for the near future, and I'm talking 2-3 years maybe, we will probably not see an Asphalt 10. It wouldn't make sense for Gameloft to invest so heavily in Asphalt Legends Unite only to release a completely new game shortly after. So because of the release of Alu, I don't think we're going to see Asphalt 10, if that's even a thing, for at least a few more years to come. Now, in Asphalt history, we did have a break between major franchise releases in between Asphalt 8 and 9, but we had those spin-off games such as Asphalt Extreme, Street Storm, and of course Overdrive. However, those have not been releasing recently, and it really felt like, in Gameloft's eyes, those were a pretty bad financial failure. Obviously, they would have kept releasing those sorts of games if they did well. So even though Asphalt Extreme got picked up by Netflix, I don't think Gameloft sees those other Asphalt releases as very good successes. So I don't think we're going to see any spin-offs anytime soon either. So that really just leaves us with Asphalt Legends Unite in the near future. Now, yes, I have seen Asphalt Nitro 2 and I've heard about it, but I don't think we've had any official news about it in a very, very long time. So I don't know if that's been canceled or if it's been soft launch anywhere. Let me know if you guys have heard anything about Nitro 2 in the comment section down below, because I haven't heard anything for a very long time. So it doesn't seem like that is going to be a priority for Gameloft either. So we're not getting Asphalt 10 anytime soon. We haven't heard about any sort of spin-offs, and I doubt we're going to see any of those within the next couple of years. So that really, again, like I said, just leaves us with Alu. For the near future, the most obvious thing is bug fixes and performance improvements with optimization, and we know that is what the developers are very hard at work on. We know there are going to be bug fixes, hot patches, or hot fixes, patches, whatever you want to call them, in the near future. We know they are working on it, so at least we know that we have those sorts of updates in the near future. And I assume if Asphalt Legends Unite continues to be as successful as Asphalt 9 is, we will of course see the continuous software updates with content like new tracks, cars, hopefully game modes, different things, different events, all that sort of stuff that we already saw with Asphalt 9. But the question is, will Asphalt Legends Unite be supported up until the game no longer is financially viable, or will Gameloft take a chance and invest in a new Asphalt game later down the line? Again, I think that has to take at least 2 to 3 years before Gameloft sees it make sense, because they've invested so much in Asphalt Legends Unite. So because of this, I wanted to take this opportunity to discuss a couple of things that I really think would help Asphalt Legends Unite in the further future rather than just the next couple of months. I think one of the biggest problems with Alu right now is that it continues to feel like a mobile game, both in the economy but also the general UI surrounding the game. There have been definitely a lot of divisive comments about the UI. In my opinion, I still think it's an improvement, but of course going through the menus, it still feels like that type of mobile game interface where you get a lot of microtransactions, so many events, so many things. It often feels like you can be a little overwhelmed by all of the content that is in the game. Now, I'm not oblivious to the fact that microtransactions and the passes is how this game is funded. I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to say to cancel that sort of thing. But I think for Asphalt Legends Unite to be more successful in the further future, I think there has to be a distinction between this and other generic mobile games. I think that is one of the big things that might be stopping users on Mac, PC, Xbox, PlayStation from getting into this game is that they download it, start playing, and after a few minutes they realize, wow, this is literally just a mobile game, and the most obvious thing to me is fuel. Listen, it's been over 6 years since the launch of Asphalt 9, and yes, maybe back then fuel made sense, but now I really just don't think it works. It is such a mobile game hallmark. I think it screams mobile game whenever you see a limitation like that. I know from the Gameloft side of things, it might be such a serious, crazy change to just remove fuel from the game, but in my opinion, I think we're now unfazed by that addition. I don't think anybody is really buying the pass necessarily for the fuel perks that you get from the Unite Pass, and I think yes, the community has sort of stopped complaining about it on mobile, but I've seen some complaints on PC and console about it, saying like, well, if this is going to be a fully fledged console or PC game, we shouldn't have the same restrictions as mobile, but at the same time we have cross-platform, cross-progression, all of that sort of thing. So I think the little mobile game quirks like that just need to be removed or changed. Now, the most obvious thing for that, and like I said in previous videos, I don't like to point out problems without necessarily providing my own solutions. I think with the Unite Pass, maybe in the future they could update it where buying the Unite Pass just gets rid of fuel. Maybe some people might see that as too much of an advantage compared to free-to-play users, but I think that's the most obvious distinction of, hey, if you want to make this more of a premium experience, you only have to pay this little amount of fee per every season, and that way you don't need to deal with fuel anymore. So regardless of how they change it and if they change it, I do think that's something that needs to be looked at, is both the economy as a whole just feeling like a mobile game. I mean, have you guys scrolled through the menus recently in the shop? There are so many individual bundles and whatnot. It feels crazy. There's way more bundles for real life currency than there is for tokens in the history of Asphalt. It feels like on every corner there is a microtransaction, whether it's the bank, it's the pass. I believe they've introduced some new different thing that I haven't even looked at that is a completely separate transaction, but you got more than one pass. You got, I would say, hundreds of bundles at this point, and it's really crazy. And again, I know that's how the game is funded. I'm not saying to remove all of it. I'm just saying that as a console user and as someone who, now that I want to play this game on PC, I look at the competition and I see that they don't have that type of crazy microtransaction situation. Again, I don't think it's reasonable to have them removed, but maybe if they made it more streamlined and maybe it made the prices a bit more reasonable in terms of what you can get for your dollar, I think that would help a lot. Of course, they're probably not going to change that if users don't change their spending habits, which maybe they will, maybe they won't. This whole thing is just to say that in some aspects, it feels like a mobile game when I'm playing on PC, but it's not because of the gameplay, it's because of the things surrounding the gameplay. So for the success long-term for Alu, I think the more they can make it feel like a PC game, the better I think it will survive in the far future. Alrighty guys, so that'll be it for this quick video about the future that, well, now we have Asphalt Legends Unite, something that has never really happened in the Asphalt franchise before, and the future does remain a little uncertain, although we know, at least, like I said earlier, in the close future, we will definitely be receiving more updates for Alu. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all later.